Stephen Hendry issued a clear and immediate response when questioned about a possible snooker comeback. The 7-time world champion, who retired twice from professional competition, left no room for speculation. During a casual game filmed for his YouTube channel, Stephen Hendry's Q-Tips, Australian star Neil Robertson jokingly asked if Hendry would consider returning to the tour. Hendry, smiling, replied without hesitation, "No." Hendry initially retired from snooker in 2012 following a 27-year career. He had amassed 18 Triple Crown titles and reached 57 ranking finals, securing victory in 36 of them. At the time, his record of 7 World Championship titles was unmatched. That mark has since been equalled by Ronnie O'Sullivan. 8 years after stepping away, Hendry returned in 2020. He accepted a 2-year invitational tour card, citing renewed confidence and improved form. His results, however, did not meet expectations. Across 4 seasons, he won only 3 of 20 matches. Despite receiving another invitational card, he confirmed his second retirement last year. Now 56, Hendry has shifted focus. He works as a pundit, co-hosts the Snooker Club podcast with Mark Watson, and continues growing his YouTube presence. His channel is approaching 400,000 subscribers. It was during filming for this channel that the comeback question emerged. After potting the black in a relaxed setting, Robertson teased him about his form. Hendry laughed, then firmly rejected any comeback plans. While he is widely regarded as one of the sport's all-time greats, Hendry omitted himself from his top 5 snooker players list. Asked to name 5 figures for a hypothetical snooker Hall of Fame, he selected players based on performance, achievements, and temperament. "I've got my 5 players, but I don't know where to rank them," Hendry said during the Snooker Club podcast. "I haven't thought about it, but I think that's a good thing, so this will be pure reaction." He began with Ronnie O'Sullivan at number 1. Hendry highlighted O'Sullivan's success and cue ball control. "Best I have ever seen," he said. He's an artist with the cue ball. His safety game as well. Under pressure, his bottle is unquestionable. Ronnie O'Sullivan is my number 1. Second place came down to a close call between Mark Williams and John Higgins. Hendry opted for Williams. "I'll go with Mark just because of his recent record against John at the Crucible," he explained. "He is a freak of nature. He has the best temperament of any sportsman I have seen. He maybe hasn't got the cue power of others, but he has great touch and he is just a brilliant potter." John Higgins was placed 3rd. Hendry praised his match play and scoring. He said, "Number 3 is obviously John Higgins, one of the greatest, if not the greatest match player of all time. His scoring, like O'Sullivan, he's done over 1,000 centuries. People talk about his match play and shot selection, but to me his scoring has been his strength." Mark Selby ranked 4th. Hendry admitted that Selby might have ranked higher if his recent seasons had mirrored earlier dominance. Number 4 would be number 2 if not for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years of his career where he's not continued that domination of the game. Mark Selby is one of the all-time greats. In terms of ball striking, I don't think there's many above him. The obvious thing to say is the tactical game and when he can win when he's not at his best. I'd hate to play him, I did play him, and I hated it. The final selection came down to Judd Trump and Steve Davis. Hendry leaned toward Davis, number 5. This could be out of 2 players. Judd Trump, for what he's won, has got to be considered, but he's only won 1 world title. Steve Davis is my number 5, 6 world titles. His utter domination of the 80s, people will scream that the players were not as good. I don't care. If he was playing the way he did in the 80s, he'd be in the top 16 today. He was the ultimate winning machine and someone I learned a lot from in my whole attitude to the sport. Hendry acknowledged the subjective nature of such lists. He said results might differ on another day. Nonetheless, he maintained consistency in his approach, selecting based on clear achievements. Observers have noted his omission of Ray Reardon and Joe Davis, both iconic names in snooker history. Reardon won 6 world championships. Joe Davis, active in the early 20th century, was the sport's first great champion. Hendry's own exclusion from the list did not go unnoticed. While many would include him among the all-time greats, Hendry refrained. His choices reflected humility and a desire to spotlight others' achievements. Steve Davis asked Hendry how he would react if O'Sullivan secured an 8th title while he was on commentary. Hendry paused, then said, "Of course I'll hate it." Davis followed with, "How are you going to get the words out of your mouth?" Hendry replied, "And sound genuinely happy for him." He laughed and added, "No, if it happens it's going to be weird. Listen, whether he's still there in the final weekend or not, we're both happy he's in it, right?" Davis agreed but commented, "There's a lot of people hoping O'Sullivan will win just to see the look on your face."
Hello.
35.
Attention all pockets. Oh, hello there! Well, that was really sensational stuff from Judd Trump.
Stephen Hendry had identified Judd Trump as the man to beat at the World Snooker Championship as the tournament approached the quarter-final stage. Trump had advanced with victories over Zhou Yuelong and Shaun Murphy. His performance had included 5 centuries in the first round and a milestone 100th century of the season during his second-round match. Against Zhou Yuelong, Trump had recorded a commanding 10-4 win. In his next match, he had defeated Shaun Murphy 13-10, overcoming the 2024 Masters champion. The second-round clash had marked Trump's 100th century of the season. He was scheduled to face either Luca Brissell or Ding Junhui in the next round. Stephen Hendry had commented on Trump's form on BBC Two. "Judd's game is so impressive, he's got everything. His safety game can compete with anybody's. His break building has matured over the last couple of years. His cue ball control is immaculate." Hendry had further stated, "He's definitely the man to beat here. Judd was pretty much unplayable for most of the session last night." Trump had won the UK Championship, Saudi Arabia Masters and Shanghai Masters that season. Hendry had cited Trump's consistent dominance and will to win as defining traits. "It's what separates the best from the rest. They just want to keep up pounding on their opponent, keep up the humiliation, keep them in their chair." Judd has become almost in the same vein as O'Sullivan in really destroying opponents, Hendry had said. John Parrott had also believed Trump's level of play made him the strongest title contender. "He's only won 1 world championship so far. Work that one out. I think this could be number 2. There's nobody at the minute playing better than he is. Somebody's going to have to play unbelievable stuff to even keep with him at the moment," Parrott had said. Trump's next opponent had been expected to be Luca Brissell, who held a 12-4 advantage over Ding Junhui before their final session. The other quarter-final match in Trump's half had featured John Higgins against Mark Williams. On the other side of the draw, Chris Wakelin had faced Zhao Xintong, while Ronnie O'Sullivan or Pang Junkshu were to play Ciji Ahui or Ben Wollaston. Trump had been awarded a £100,000 bonus for reaching 100 centuries in the season. It was the second time in his career he had accomplished this milestone. Hendry had spoken further on the Snooker Club podcast. He said, "I just witnessed Judd Trump trousering £100,000 for 100 centuries this season. It's the second time he's done it, and it just shows the scoring power of all the top players, but especially Judd Trump." Hendry had believed Trump's recent setbacks may have contributed to his resurgence. He had lost in the final of the Players' Championship to Kyron Wilson and exited the Tour Championship in the first round. It looked like, in the 3 or 4 weeks he had since losing in the first round of the Tour Championship, he had refreshed, practiced hard, he looked sharp and he looked focused. He was going to take some stopping, Hendry had said. Speaking on BBC coverage, Hendry had added, he came into the World Championship having lost the final to Kieran Wilson in the Players and lost in the first round of the Tour Championship. He came in not with the success he'd been having, but obviously he had been able to go away for 3 or 4 weeks, practice, recharge. It's the best I've seen him playing. You don't want to peak too early. Looking back at winning my World Championships, you generally don't play your best in the opening rounds. If you play well, it's a bonus. But I think he had refreshed after his 3 or 4 week break, and he looked like he was just going to get better and better. Jimmy White had also noted Trump's increased engagement with the crowd. He's gone on to play lights-out snooker. Can Judd Trump win the World Championship? Not half he can. It's an amazing achievement, and you see Trump appreciating the crowd. He loves to entertain, and it's nice to see that he got a lot of pleasure out of that, said White. Stephen Hendry had also listed his all-time top 5 snooker players on the Snooker Club podcast. He had placed Ronnie O'Sullivan at the top. Obviously because of the success he has had, but also for his cue ball control, which is the best I've ever seen. He is an artist with the cue ball. When he is at his best, he still finds a way to clear the table. Also, his safety game. He never plays a safety shot plain ball. He is always using side to manipulate the cue ball, and under pressure, his bottle is unquestionable, Hendry had said. He had ranked Mark Williams second due to his recent crucible record against John Higgins. He said, he is a freak of nature. He has the best temperament of any sportsman I have seen. He maybe hasn't got the cue power of others, but he has great touch and he is just a brilliant potter. John Higgins had been placed third. Hendry had referred to him as possibly the greatest match player of all time. If I had to pick a player to clear up from 50 behind with 5 reds left, I'd take John. He has made over 1,000 centuries and his scoring is phenomenal, Hendry had added. 4th place had gone to Mark Selby. Hendry had emphasised his all-around strength. Hendry said, he has the tactical game and he can win when not as best. I hated playing him. He's so tough. The 5th slot had been between Judd Trump and Steve Davis. Hendry had chosen Davis based on his dominance in the 1980s. He'd still be in the top 16 today. He was the ultimate winning machine and I learned a lot from him, Hendry stated. In a separate interview with Neil Folds, Hendry had reiterated that O'Sullivan is the greatest of all time. Trump had followed in 2nd place. It's just incredible. At his best, I put him number 1, but as I say, if you ask me in 5 years' time, it could well be Judd, Hendry told Folds. Folds had acknowledged Trump's rise but focused on achievements. I've got to go with what people achieve, not what might they achieve. He's got to keep winning, Folds said. Folds had attributed Trump's transformation partly to his brother Jack's influence. Since his brother has been with him, he's been a different prospect, said Folds. Folds had added that snooker behind closed doors could impact Trump's performance if support was limited. Some players need their heads put right, especially at the Crucible, he had said. Stephen Hendry's full top 10 list had included Ronnie O'Sullivan at 1st position, Judd Trump at 2nd, John Higgins at 3rd, Steve Davis at 4th, Mark Williams at 5th, Neil Robertson at 6th, Mark Selby at 7th, Ding Junhui at 8th, Jimmy White at 9th, and Alex Higgins at 10th.
I mean, he has got the most boring shot in the world here, but he could just tap the red. What a pot that is. I mean, that is just absolutely ludicrous. But I tell you something, it's clever. And I didn't see it. I mean, look what he's played it, where he's put the cue ball.
People like watching this guy because you can't predict what he's going to do and when.
Oh, really? Really? I mean, come on, sir. What is that? I mean, that is just scary. He's got the easiest shot in the world to push that red onto the other one, and he's dropped it in the middle pocket. Fabulous.
Zhao Xintong has made his position clear. The newly crowned World Snooker Champion believes young players S would pack their bags and head to the UK. This directly contradicts what Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump are doing with their careers. The Chinese star became the first Asian player to win the World Snooker Championship. His 1812 victory over Mark Williams marked a historic moment for the sport. But perhaps more interesting than his triumph is his advice to upcoming players. I feel that in the UK, the level of training is better because the players here are more skilled and it helps to raise your standard, Zhao told the South China Morning Post. He didn't mince words about training conditions elsewhere. On the mainland, for example, the level isn't that high, and the level of competition is also not that high, so your motivation won't be as strong. This stance puts him at odds with two of snooker's biggest names.